Hello, Class 8. Now it's time to start your history and civics. See, children, through various assignments and videos, I try to cover all the topics of your chapter number 1, 2, 3, and 4 of history, right? So, today I'm gonna start chapter number 5, and the chapter name is British Policies and Impacts, right? So in this chapter we are going to discuss about the various economic policies introduced by the Britishers and how these policies affect the livelihood of Indians, right? So different revenue systems, different economic policies introduced by the Britishers and their impacts on Indian industries or Indian livelihood. So we are going to discuss these topics in this chapter, right, children? So I want everybody be with their reader and please turn page number 60. Here we go. Before moving to chapter number 5, let's have a quick revise of chapter number 3 and chapter number 4, because these chapters, chapter number 3, chapter number 4 and chapter number 5, they are interrelated, right? They are interconnected. In chapter number 3, the chapter name is India in the 18th century, right? So in this chapter you must have gone through the actual condition, political condition as well as the social condition of Indian people, right? So you must have read about the different Mughal rulers, their administrative work, their revenue system, how they used to collect revenue taxes, right? And their political conditions, their relation with the other neighboring countries, neighboring states, like you must have gone through these topics, right? And the main thing is the actual political and the social condition of the people, or we can say the condition of the king as well as his subjects, right? And you must have read about the emergence of new political groups in Indian subcontinent in the first half of the 18th century, as well as you must have read about the different Mughal rulers before Aurangzeb and after Aurangzeb, right, children? Okay. And now in chapter number 4, you must have gone through the political condition of India and the foreigners like the Dutch, the French, and the Britishers, how they came to India, and actually the condition, the Indian political condition was very pathetic. So it was very poor, and India was not united, and the condition, they were not consolidated, because many states were there, many rulers, many kingdoms were there. They kept on fighting with each other, with their neighboring states, neighboring kingdoms, right? So the Indian political condition was really very poor. Seeing this condition, seeing this situation, the foreigners, they took advantage of this situation and they came to India as a trader, right? And later on they made their supremacy in India. Okay, let's move to chapter number 5. The various economic policies introduced by the Britishers brought many changes in the land revenue system, in trade, in commerce, in industry, and in agriculture. Right? The basic aim of these policies, or adopting these policies, was to promote British economic interest in India, right, children? So what they did, they started taking in charge of all the revenue system of India, right? Okay, and they started collecting revenue in terms of cash, not in terms of produce, right, children? Farmers started growing only those crops which had a high demand in the market, right? And the fine machine clothes started reaching to village area or village market, due to which the Indian cottage industry got set back, right? Or we can say, in another way, we can say the cottage industry, Indian cottage industry, got ruined, right? Now, in order to bring stability in agriculture, the British government had made many settlements. So, those settlements are: number one, the permanent settlement, number two is the Ryotwari system, and third is the Mahalwari system. Okay, let's talk about the permanent settlement. Permanent settlement. Permanent settlement was introduced by the Governor General Lord Cornwallis in 1793. When? In 1793. And according to this permanent settlement, the zamindar was made the land owner, right? And that zamindar had to pay fixed amount of revenue to the government every year at the specific time. Next topic is impacts of permanent settlement. Children, my question to you is, did the permanent settlement benefit the Indian farmers? Definitely no. The permanent settlement ensured the regular income to the company or to the Britishers, right? Secondly, it created a new class in a society. So, new class, that means, yes, zamindar class or landlord class, right? And they had got enormous power that they started bullying the poor farmers, and they started confiscating their property for the non-payments of dues to the landlords, right? And many more harassment and bullying, and confiscating their properties, plundering their cattles, and many more, right, children? This resulted in making a large section of tenants disposing of their houses, their lands, their properties, especially in the tough time like um, drought or crop failures, right? So these were the impacts of permanent settlement, right? And this permanent settlement was started in Bengal. Initially, it was started in Bengal, then it was introduced in Orissa and Andhra Pradesh, right? Oh. The British company and the zamindars, only they were benefited by this system, permanent settlement, right? Okay. Okay, children, this much for today. We'll continue with the same chapter in the next class, and hopefully, I'll try to make you understand this chapter through the ray diagram, right, children? Okay. After this video, you'll get your 10th assignment of history, and children, do answers all the questions, right? Do not leave any question. So after that, after completing your work, you need to revert it to my school Gmail ID, right? And that is within 2 days, right, children? Okay, till then, bye bye.